Hey ideators and entrepreneurs, CUNY Startups here. Welcome to CUNY and Beyond, the podcast dedicated to helping inspiring entrepreneurs through storytelling. We're excited to dive into the entrepreneurial endeavors of CUNY students, alum, and bonus entrepreneurs who are willing to share their valuable insights with you. Join us for today's show. Welcome everyone to CUNY and Beyond. I'm your host, Adia Johnson, and today I'm sitting with someone who's not only a full-time student at Baruch, but she's also a co-founder of two businesses. And she's been making waves in pitch competitions and building real-world ventures while hitting her school books. So we have My Anh Phan, and thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, of course. It's my pleasure.
Let's start with your journey at Baruch. What inspired you to enroll at CUNY, and how's the ride been so far?
It's kind of funny because my sister is actually an alumni from Baruch, and she was telling me about the program and how Baruch was so flexible and letting her work not just full-time. She was working 2 part-time jobs to pay her tuition. And she told me how Baruch was so flexible and really helped her be able to pursue her own education while working. So I ended up applying to Baruch and I got in. And, it was also very affordable in comparison to my other options. So, of course, I had to go with that. And I really enjoy it here.
I got my master's here at Baruch as well. And I was working full-time and I was taking 3 quarters, so 3 classes for grad school each semester. Plus, I was really involved on campus too. So I understand how it's kind of flexible with your schedule in a sense where you can still take a lot of classes and get things out of the way, but it's really affordable too. So I've seen you crush at competitions, namely CUNY Clash, which is just happened in May. So you're the co-founder of 2 businesses. Tell us more about them and what drove you to kind of starting them.
Yeah, of course. So I can tell you about Bearcat Thrift. Bearcat Thrift started at the CEO Club here at Baruch, and we got the idea for Bearcat Thrift because I'm actually a daughter of a single mother who has 2 other sisters, right? What I found was that we were always trying to find ways to stretch our budget and stuff. So me and my sisters, we actually have a really big age gap. So whenever I got their hand-me-downs, it would always be a little bit too big. I also just tried to find ways to, find clothes that were quote unquote in, but still affordable. So I ended up doing a lot of thrifting. And I also had friends who were Depop sellers and they were telling me their struggles with, trying to find mailing options and stuff. So I got the idea for Bearcat Thrift and here we are. So I'm developing an app called Popped Up, which is an app that gives you live updates on pop-up events in New York City. As someone who has always been, here for free lunch, I love finding out about pop-ups. I actually found out about it back in October, I think. There was a pop-up near Baruch at Flatiron. Flatiron has actually hosted a lot of pop-up events. It was the Budok Sauce Exchange. And I remember just going there with my friends and we were getting so many cups of Budok ramen and I was surviving off that. I was oh my God, this is so good. And I was just why is there no app for it? I've always seen so many social media accounts with pop-up events and, I just wanted to find a centralized place for it.
What steps did you kind of take to get that started for Bearcat Thrift and for the pop-up as well? How did you start implementing, creating it with your co-founders?
For Bearcat Thrift, right, I actually have a team of leads and we have been working to host events. We actually hosted 2 events last spring and it was really successful. We actually saw over 300 students attend our events and we've been able to help our student sellers generate over $1,500 total. And, we've just been here trying to make more of a difference. We're looking to host some more events in the fall. So we're working on that right now over the summer. So for Popped Up, we're actually looking to host a pop-up event in New York City, hopefully in August. We are working with a brand called Awake Chocolate that is so gracious and wanted to collaborate with us. We're also working with Gen Z Tea, which is a global community of Gen Z founders, students, creators, etc., etc. So we're in the works of doing that right now. And we also have a couple of marketing and social media interns with us that have been working on our social media page.
And how did you kind of pick your co-founders for each of the businesses, as well as your interns, and what strengths have they brought to your team's dynamic?
Yeah, of course. So my co-founders for Bearcat Thrift, one of them was actually part of the CEO Club, and they were really interested in Bearcat Thrift as a whole. And the other ones, so that was Manish, and then Sandy, she was actually someone who stumbled upon our second event, and she came way too early. So I was telling her about the event, and I was telling her that we were hosting a really cool event. We were giving out free ramen and, a lot of great snacks. Oh, sorry, to clarify, she was at our first event. My bad. But she came along afterwards to the event, and she wanted to get really involved with us. So she's our marketing lead. And to clarify, Manish is our operations lead. And then Taye, he's someone who actually works at the field center and also has been interested in the journey of Bearcat Thrift. So he's been working with us as our finance lead.
What kind of traits do you feel like they bring to the team dynamic? What separates them from you in the sense where you can have them as a support mechanism for your company?
Yeah, of course. So first of all, they're always willing to make time just for Bearcat Thrift, despite being like super busy working. All of them have extracurriculars. They all take a lot of classes and stuff, but they always try to make time for Bearcat Thrift. And for example, Manish, my operations lead, he is always super willing to utilize all his resources. For example, he's like a huge ChatGPT lover. So he always finds ways to utilize it to help us streamline our operations and organization. And then Sandy, she's actually worked at Puff Media before as a marketing manager, and she's always excited about learning some new marketing tactics. She's super energetic and always brings a great vibe into our team. And then for Taye, he's always open to suggestions. He's a entrepreneurship major, if I'm corrected, and he's always been working super hard to streamline our finances and make sure things are on top.
Okay, what's your team dynamic for Popped Up?
Yeah, so for Popped Up, I'm currently a solo founder working with some social media and marketing interns. They come from a variety of places. Some of them are friends. Some of them are random people from TikTok who actually wanted to help out. And, it's always great having them. They are people who want to contribute to Popped Up's growth because they truly believe in the experience of improving pop-ups.
I know entrepreneurship is no easy road, and you're doing it twice because you're doing it with two businesses. What's been the toughest part of your journey personally for you so far?
I think for me, it's definitely like juggling two passions, because sometimes I'll be doing something for Popped Up and it'll take over a bit, but then I also have to work on Bearcat Thrift. But I'm just so grateful that I have two super supportive teams that have been helping me out on both ends.
So you're juggling school, startups, your personal life, friends, just doing fun things outside of school. And I know it's a lot. So how do you really manage it all? And what's kind of like your go-to stress reliever?
For me, how I manage it all is I live, laugh, love my Google Calendar. It is like my lifesaver, honestly. And I always make sure I have my events on there, what I'm doing. I always put my commute, how long things are going to take and stuff on it. So it's really like just checking my calendar, making sure I know what I'm doing. And then I also love Notion. It's a great application that I love to use to just find out what my to-dos are and everything. And I also use it to journal. That's a great way for me to like release my stress and also understand what's been going on in my day to day. I love watching shows. I'm a big fan of watching shows like Modern Family, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Abbott Elementary, etc., etc. And that's like one of my biggest go-tos. I actually recently watched the K-pop Demon Hunters. It's a movie actually, and it's a really great animation movie. And not only that, I also love to hang out with my friends if possible, do a quick FaceTime if anything. And yeah, that's what I like to do.
It's keeping you super grounded. Love it. Running a business really tests you. What's something that you've learned about yourself through this experience?
Something I learned about myself. I definitely learned like how to take opportunities, because honestly, when I got here at Baruch, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I remember the first day of orientation, me and my friend afterwards, we went around Baruch trying to figure out what resources were offered. We actually went around to the STAR Center, the Writing Center, the SAC Center. Like we were going around everywhere, asking people questions on how to best utilize resources, what's something underrated. and, just really trying to take on opportunities. That's actually how I found out about the field center at Baruch, because it was right next to the Star Center. And it was like, whoa, I've never seen this place like ever. And, being a freshman, I was just like, I wonder if this place is like cool to be in,
You're a sophomore or you're a junior?
So I'm an incoming sophomore now. I just finished my freshman year.
You see that, guy? She's doing all this and she hasn't even reached junior status. That's amazing. Okay, you are like breaking the ground running. All right, so we're going to flip to the bright side of things. What's been the most fulfilling or exciting part of being an entrepreneur?
I think definitely just seeing things work out or just like unexpectedly work out. Like the 2 pitch competitions I participated in, it was for Bearcat Thrift and also Popped Up. So I participated in CUNY Clash and also the Baruch CEO pitch competition. I remember when I was filming with my team for Bearcat Thrift, we made it past the first 2 rounds and we actually didn't make it past the second round. And what we did instead was I applied on behalf of Bearcat Thrift. And what I did was on Friday, I actually had a class. I went to the field center. I knew it was closed on Fridays, but I wanted to see if there was any way to talk to anyone who was in charge of CUNY Clash. So what I did was I actually bumped into Remy and I told him, hey, I applied for CUNY Clash. I would love to see if there's any feedback we could get for Bearcat Thrift and everything. And he sent me an email with our feedback. And then, I was saying, oh, I'd love to have an in-person meeting to just talk more about this. And then the following Monday, there was a spot opened for CUNY Clash and we were next in line. And I remember I went to the CUNY Clash competition and he told me that had I never went up and talked to him, he would have not remembered me.
That's right. It was a student who sent us an email and pretty much said he couldn't participate in the program anymore, for personal reasons. Mm-hmm. And you literally were the next person in line. So the fact that you did make that connection, what you did was network, right? You networked.
It was super stressful because not only was I pitching for Bearcat Thrift on May 2nd, I was also pitching for Popped Up May 1st. And I remember the week before that or during that week, I was stressing. I was memorizing scripts. I was telling my team, hey guys, we got to make these slides super great. And I was just stressing my mind out. But, when I actually did the pitch competitions, I felt good. I felt like I did what I could. And that's really all you can do.
You did amazing. Like I said, when you presented, it doesn't even look like you're nervous at all. You did. I saw you do the Popped Up one first because I did go to that competition in the field center, and I was like, I didn't even know she was doing a separate one. I was like, okay, you delivered it so well. So I don't know what you did behind the scenes. It came out great.
Thank you so much. It was a lot of practice pitches. I'll tell you that.
So I love doing kind of a would you rather segment. And because Bearcat Thrift is mainly focused on thrifting, the shopping experience, I have questions for shopping. So would you rather always walk out the store with 10 random items that you didn't plan to buy, or always forget the one thing that you actually needed?
Honestly, 10 random things, because you never know who might need something. I always love giving my friends random stuff sometimes.
Oh, that's so sweet. I like that. Okay. Would you rather go on a shopping spree with your best friend or with a celebrity of your choice?
Honestly, I think with my best friend, because the celebrity, it might just be so awkward, honestly. You never know what's going to happen with a celebrity, but with your best friend, it's something that you're always doing. It's something nice to do.
You want to give your best friend a shout out, by the way?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have several. So this is going to be hard. So I have Vivian, I have Madison. I have 2 Madisons, actually. So, super great.
So would you rather have a shopping buddy who's always by your side or a personal shopper who nails your style every single time?
Oh, my God. Personal shopper. I struggle sometimes with what looks good on me to wear. I always love an oversized tee, honestly.
You've got an hour to shop. Are you heading straight for clothes, shoes, accessories, or room decor?
Honestly, clothes. I feel like you can never have enough of it. And, that's really it.
I don't know. I just love things for my face. I don't know. I prefer not to shop for clothes. It's like overwhelming for me because my size, my body type changes often. So it's just like, yeah, this isn't going to work for me. Would you rather shop at a quirky, treasure-filled thrift store or stick to high-end boutiques? And I already know the answer for that.
Well, obviously the thrift store. Like, what can I say? What can I say?
Okay. Would you rather score a free item every time you make a purchase or never have to stand in the checkout line again?
Free item with purchase, because like with lines, it's kind of like a humble reminder, you know, like this is something you have to do. I feel like that's fine. And also like going to pop-ups, there are always massive lines. I think I waited like 3 hours in line for the Uber Lost and Found pop-up, like near Baruch. It was crazy. But
was it like wrapped around the corner?
Oh my God, like several blocks. Like I was there, first few people in my first 50, right? And I was there with my friends at Bearcat Thrift because we were going to get stuff for Bearcat Thrift. And I was just like thinking to myself, like, you know what? Despite it being a super long line, like it's an experience with your friends.
Would you always find your dream item on sale or always find it in your perfect size?
Oh, that's hard. I feel like on sale because perfect size, it's very dependent.
You know, I'm picking perfect size because my body type. Okay. Would you rather only be able to shop at stores with quirky or unusual items or at stores with super practical items?
Quirky or practical? Practical. I'm a very practical person, honestly.
Yes, you did say you like the oversized tee. That is very practical. Okay, thank you for playing this segment of the Would You Rather. So jumping straight back into the questions. So what is something that you would want to share, like an advice that you want to give someone who's starting out in entrepreneurship, a student particularly who has a great idea? Like how would you advise them to start?
Honestly, this is going to be so cheesy, but like just do it. It's going to be hard. Like you'll never know if things actually work out, but you have to give things a chance to work out. Honestly, like when I started doing entrepreneurship, it wasn't just in college, but it was like moments in middle school. I was actually painting calculator covers and I was selling them to friends. I made some money from that and that was like fun. And then in high school, I started a club, Art for Awareness, and we had students create like stickers, phone charms, keychains, etc., etc. It's honestly just a matter of practice and doing it, because behind those like mini businesses that I did, like it was hours of me painting covers, it was hours of me hand drawing things, having my friends in my basement just working on stuff, you know. And even now it's still like a matter of taking a step to do things, because you never know until you try. And that's what college is for too.
I love the fact that you just mentioned, although you had all these experiences in middle school when you were a kid, just doing these projects or doing these businesses, you still had company. You weren't alone. You had your friends, you had support. So it also shows that in entrepreneurship, you never go at it alone. There's always going to be people there to support you.
100%.
Yes. And speaking of support, how can our viewers, our followers support you, follow you on your journey, and how can they connect with you?
Yeah, of course. So they can obviously connect with me on LinkedIn at like My Anh Phan, that's my name. And they can follow us at Bearcat Thrift and at popped_up_app. And yeah, just stay tuned on the journey. That's all I can ask.
Well, thank you so much, My Anh Phan, for joining me today. It was a lovely conversation, and I'm looking forward to seeing you grow with both of your businesses, especially at Baruch. I'll be watching.
Stop. Thank you.